Hi, this video is to explain papertrail with a specific focus on the document logs. What we have here is the login page. So once you get here, type in your DWR username and password, and that will bring us to the main menu. Once we arrive at the main menu, we have our choice of document types from this drop down here, which include CCOs, the construction change orders, construction estimates, contractor letters, emails, MDs, miscellaneous documents, reports, RFIs, serial letters, and PCOs. We also have a few other options of tools down below, which I'll discuss in a different video. We also have a specification drop-down, which is optional. But for now, let's go ahead and just select a first document type. When we do that, the document icon appears and a link to the log appears as well. Let's go ahead and click that link, and now we're forced to select the specification. So I will pick 1403. What happens here is it looks up our log of all CCOs for 1403, and here they are in a table below. There are a total of 9 CCOs for this specification logged in papertrail at the time of this recording. Above is a box for filtering data, a legend, filters, and titles. So the table itself should be pretty self-explanatory. We have CCO number 1, CCO number 2, 3, and so on. If you click on the little CCO icon with a single left click, that should prompt your browser to download the document. And sure enough, it did download as PDF onto my desktop. The very first time you click to download a PDF, it may ask you to type in your DWR username and password one more time. There is a legend up above, so you can see CCOs is orange, serial letters are purple, and MDs are green. These are just 2 of the other document types we saw from that main menu drop-down. And they're displayed in this legend because the CCOs happen to reference or be referenced by these other document types. So if you look over, CCO1 happens to be referenced by serial letter 17 and references MD2. So we can do a single left click to download these documents the same way, if we prefer to do so. When you download a document, it may ask you if you want to open or save. It sort of depends on your browser settings. So different browsers and the settings themselves behave differently. Other fields in the CCO log include the description, the date it was signed by DWR, contractor sign date, financial information, and additional time. There is a little blue jay icon here, which is specific to the CCO document type. It doesn't occur anywhere else. And that is a justification letter. So in addition to uploading the CCO, a justification letter or a J can be clicked to download that justification letter. A couple of their document types have a stack of papers for revisions or addendums to the original document, which I'll find an example of as well before the end of this video. But in the meantime, I wanted to mention filtering and sorting. So every log has a filter box with values that correspond to the fields of the table itself, of the log. So if we wanted to just search for CCO number 5, we could type in 005, and now the log has been reduced to the values that just satisfy the filter. Let me go ahead and clear that, and we have all of our CCOs back. If I wanted to find all of the CCOs greater than $35,000 for a net compensation, I can come over to net dollar compensation, go to the left one because that's the minimum, and type in 35,000, and instead of 9 CCOs, we're only looking at 3 CCOs, which fit that criteria. Sorting works this in a similar manner where we can just click on any of these arrows, up or down arrows at the top, and the sorting will take place. By default, the log loads with an ascending sort on the document number, but it could be descending just as well. We could sort by date, ascending or descending, or any of the other values that have an up or down arrow at the top of that column. One last thing to point out is the print to PDF. So if I print to PDF, it's going to give me a PDF. It downloaded on my desktop. I'm going to open that up right now and drag that up into the field of view. And here we have the PDF with the exact same table we were just looking at, the CCO number, the references, description, and so on. And it also preserves the legend with the specific icons, and it also preserves the sorting and the filtering. If you remember, we have a net dollar compensation greater than $35,000 in our example, and we sorted, I believe, on the date DWR signed it in the ascending order. So we're not seeing all 9 CCOs here. We're just seeing what the results of the filtering and the sorting. So let me go ahead and clear that, and we have all our CCOs again. Let's go ahead and switch over to a different document type. So this is 1403, but say we want to look at the RFIs. We can just change it to RFI, and it stays with the same specification, 1403. And here we have RFI table, our log for RFIs, which includes different metadata. For instance, for RFIs, it's just date submitted, date response, and subject. So our filter box looks a little different because it just corresponds to those fields. And our legend changed as well because now there's a few different document types that happen to be referenced. There's more document types than are shown, but the legend will only display the document types that appear in the log itself. So we have some MDs, some emails. Emails download a little differently. They download as a .msg file. So I have a dialog, and I could just save that and then open it up in my Microsoft Office Outlook client. So there's the RFI log. One thing that's different about RFIs is that instead of just numbers, we may see a letter as well, which refers to a revision. So for instance, RFI 1 was submitted, was responded to, and then later there was a revision to RFI 1, and that was also responded to. So that's what the letter A happens to be. If there's a secondary revision, that would be a 1B, and then C and D, and so on. In addition to revisions, there's also changes. So here we have a change. 24.1 was originally submitted and then responded to. And then a couple weeks later, that response was changed or is amended somehow. So that's what the point 1 refers to. If there happens to be a secondary change, there would be a point 2 and point 3. But this is just unique to RFIs. There could also be a 23A.1 if the revision happens to be changed. I won't talk about filtering or sorting. It works the same for all the logs. But I did want to find a document with a stack of papers for addendums and revisions. And here's one here. If I go to the 1403 MD log, then here's a stack of papers at the end of the description. So if I go ahead and click that, it brings up a dialog box showing the spec, the MD number, the description, and then an icon for both the initial MD and any addendums or revisions. So this PDF icon here is the same thing I would get to download if I did a click on this main PDF here for MD2. But the second one here, and there could be a long list of others, is the point 1, is the first addendum or revision. So I could give a single left click here and then download that additional data, which isn't displayed on the main log. You have to go into the addendums. All right, well, that's pretty much it. Besides changing the MD, or the document type, we can also change the specification. So let me go to RFI. Now we're in RFI 1403, and if I go to if I change the spec, now we have RFI 1421. So you can either change the document type or the spec, but the whole time you're going to remain in one of the log pages without having to go back out to the main menu. All right, thanks for watching.